September 14th, 2016. The morning air is thick with the last remnants of summer, and the sky is still cloaked in darkness as a man sets out on his daily walk through Acorn Woods in Grapevine, Texas. The woods are quiet, the usual rustling of wildlife, his only company. But as he nears the parking area, a sudden glow catches his eye. Within seconds, flames erupt beyond the tree line. At first, the dense brush obscures his view. He quickens his pace, heart pounding, and as he rounds a bend, he spots something chilling, a fire raging near the woodline. Just beyond the blaze, he sees a silver or gray SUV speeding away from the parking lot, its tires crunching over the gravel as it disappears into the early morning darkness. His instincts kick in. Something is terribly wrong. Flagging down a passing Parks and Recreation truck, he waves frantically, drawing the attention of Brock Howard and Mark Lockwood, two employees making their rounds. Without hesitation, they jump from their truck, grabbing the only water they have, a 5-gallon bucket meant for cleaning paintbrushes. It isn't much, but they toss it onto the fire, watching as the flames hiss and retreat. What they find beneath the smoldering embers is the kind of horror that stays with a person forever. There, inside the burned-out patch of brush, lies a body. The Grapevine Police Department is called immediately. Patrolman Oscar Ramirez arrives first, his headlights illuminating the darkened woods. Not far behind him is Fire Chief Darrell Brown, returning from another call when the distress report crackled over the radio. Ramirez steps cautiously toward the scene, his flashlight cutting through the pre-dawn mist. Brown follows closely, his seasoned instincts already telling him, this isn't just a fire, this is a crime scene. Just off the worn footpath, where weeds grow wild and thick, the charred remains of a human body lie crumpled inside a blue plastic kiddie pool. The heat of the flames has left the figure unrecognizable, burned beyond recognition. Who was this person? A man? A woman? A child? The answers are lost to the fire. But by the following day, a single piece of evidence will reveal the victim's identity. A set of fingerprints. The name tied to those prints will send shockwaves through the tight-knit community of Denton, Texas. The body belonged to Jackie Vandagriff, a 24-year-old nutrition major at Texas Woman's University, and her story was only beginning. You're tuned in to 22 Crime, where the truth hides in the details. Together we dive into the darkest corners of human nature, exploring the mysteries that have left investigators puzzled and families searching for justice. Because in the world of crime, the truth is never as simple as it seems. The clock is ticking, just 22 minutes to uncover the truth behind today's mystery. Viewer discretion is advised. 22 is a true crime podcast that delves into real-life crime stories, which often involve graphic descriptions, sensitive content, and strong language that may not be suitable for all audiences. We strive to present these cases with the utmost respect for the victims and their families. Please note that the content discussed may be distressing or triggering for some listeners. Additionally, all resources and information presented in this podcast are obtained from publicly available internet sources. Listener discretion is strongly advised, and we recommend that only mature audiences proceed with caution. If you are sensitive to such content, please consider watching another video. Stay safe and take care of your mental health. Before her name became the center of a tragic mystery, Jackie Vandagriff was a young woman with dreams, ambitions, and a future waiting to unfold. At 24 years old, Jackie was still finding her footing in life. But one thing was certain: she was determined to make a difference. A licensed esthetician, she had recently shifted her focus toward a new goal: a career in nutrition. Enrolling at Texas Woman's University, a school renowned for its healthcare curriculum, Jackie was eager to learn. She moved into a shared student housing unit, living with 3 other students, ready to take the next step in her journey. And in her own words, Jackie once described herself in a class assignment, a video that captured her lively, petite, and hopeful personality. A glimpse into a life full of energy, curiosity, and kindness.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacqueline Vandagriff, but friends call me Jackie. I am originally from the Colony, Texas, but I moved to Frisco when I was in elementary school and I graduated from Wakeland High School. I am currently a junior here at Texas Women's University, and my major is nutrition with an emphasis in wellness. I chose this major because I realized while working as an esthetician, which is skincare if you're not familiar, I realized the importance of nutrition and just overall health and decided that this is what I was going to study. As far as my career aspirations go, right now I'm most interested in corporate wellness. I think more and more companies are starting to recognize the need to provide health resources for their employees. So I think right now that's where I'm wanting to go with my career. I'm taking this course online because I do not live in Denton and I hate driving and I hate traffic. So I'm trying to take as many of my classes online as I can. In this class, I hope to learn more about how to use the resources available to reach different individuals and to communicate effectively with the amount of diversity that we have in our community, as well as just building on my overall communication skills. So thank you for watching. I am really looking forward to learning about all of you and learning with you in this class.
Jackie was born on March 4, 1992, in Carrollton, Texas. The youngest of two daughters, she was raised in the Colony before moving to Frisco, growing up in the heart of a state she truly loved. From an early age, Jackie's personality shined through. As a child, she adored Thomas the Tank Engine, spending hours reenacting the show with her own train set. But she was more than just a bright-eyed little girl with a love for make-believe. She was also a natural athlete. Before she could even walk, she had learned to somersault. At just 3 years old, she joined the World Olympic Gymnastics Academy, a prestigious training ground for elite athletes. Jackie's talent was undeniable. She quickly climbed through the levels, eventually competing in state-level gymnastics at level 5. As she grew older, her interests expanded, but one thing remained constant. Jackie was always moving forward. By the time she reached adulthood, Jackie had found a new passion: health and wellness. She envisioned a future in corporate wellness, hoping to provide healthcare resources to businesses across America. She lived by what she preached, constantly sharing nutrition tips, health articles, and wellness advice on social media. She wasn't just studying nutrition. She was embracing it as a lifestyle, a mission, a calling. But Jackie's heart wasn't just for people. It was for animals, too. A lifelong vegetarian, she strongly advocated for animal rights, using her voice to support ethical treatment and healthier living. And when she wasn't focusing on her studies or activism, she was traveling, exploring new cities, new experiences, new adventures. She loved Texas barbecue, country music, and the spirit of the Lone Star State. A true Texan at heart, Jackie had that rare mix of warmth and independence, someone who could light up a room just by walking into it. Jackie was at that pivotal stage in life, the one many of us remember, the early 20s. A time when the future feels wide open and anything is possible. Yes, college was demanding. The workload was intense, but weekends, nights out with friends, those were the moments that made it all worth it. Jackie was living her youth, laughing, learning, growing. She had no idea that one night out, one seemingly ordinary decision, would change everything. She had no idea she would never see her next morning. Jackie Vandagriff was full of life. But on the night of September 13th, 2016, her path would cross with someone who had darkness in their heart, someone who had no intention of letting her see another sunrise. To understand what happened to Jackie Vandagriff, we first need to understand the man whose path crossed with hers that fateful night. His name was Charles Dean Bryant. At first glance, Bryant was just another guy in town, a 29-year-old bartender and personal trainer living in the city of Grapevine, Texas. But beneath the surface, his past was already stained with warning signs. Unknown to many, police had encountered him before. Twice he had been arrested in Grapevine, once for possession, of marijuana, another time for forgery, and a few years earlier in Washington state, he had been charged with misdemeanor assault. But criminal records don't tell the full story. To truly understand who Charles Bryant was, we need to hear from someone who knew him, someone who survived him. Her name was Caitlin Mathis, and she was just 18 years old when she met Bryant in June 2016, just one day after graduating high school. She remembers exactly how it happened. He had lots of muscles and tattoos, which kind of interested me at the time. At 18, he was exciting. He was older, confident, and at first, charming. She didn't hesitate. She ran headlong into the relationship with Charles Bryant that summer of 2016, but the excitement didn't last. I started to see these warning signs. He was manipulative. He was a bit of a narcissist. He thought very highly of himself. He would say things like, "You'll never find anyone better than me." It was just toxic, and he was toxic. By mid-August, Caitlin had had enough. She ended things. She thought that was the last time she'd see him. She was wrong. The very next day, Bryant showed up uninvited, this time at Caitlin's mother's house. Somehow, he convinced her to give him another chance. He was trying to say, "Oh, I can work on this, I can be better," making all these promises. But Caitlin was done with promises. A little over a week later, after moving away for college, she ended things again. That same night, police found Bryant on her campus. August 24, 2016. Captain Jeremy Polk, a lieutenant for the UNT campus police, noticed a car swerving erratically through campus roads. Suspecting a drunk driver, he pulled the car over. Inside, Charles Bryant. Polk quickly realized Bryant wasn't intoxicated, but he had outstanding traffic tickets, so they arrested him, processed him, and let him go. Hours later, Bryant was back on campus. This time he found Caitlin. He actually knocked on the door of my dorm room. He didn't know where I lived before. And he said, "Oh, your name was on the door." Caitlin got him out of there and immediately called campus police. Captain Polk wasn't taking any chances. She told us things like, "I just did not like the way Charles spoke to me," or "I did not like the way he treated me. And I made that choice then and there. I would do everything I could to help her with this situation." He issued a no trespass order, banning Bryant from the UNT campus, but Bryant didn't care about orders. On August 31st, a week after breaking into Caitlin's dorm, he tracked her down again, this time at her new job. It was my first day there, and he walked through the door and my heart just dropped to the bottom of my stomach. I was like, "I just want you to leave." She asked her manager to keep Bryant out, but the response was devastating. "There's nothing I can do." Caitlin felt trapped. "I can't work here. I don't feel safe enough to work here." So she left. She went back to her old job 30 minutes away, but Bryant wasn't finished with her yet. 1 week later, on what would have been their 3-month anniversary, Bryant was back at her dorm. Again. He showed up to my dorm, knocked on my door, and at this point, I was shaking. I was all alone. I actually hid in my suite mate's closet. Campus police found him outside 10 minutes later, now dressed in running clothes, trying to play it off like he wasn't there for Caitlin. They arrested him for trespassing. "You know you're not supposed to be here," an officer told him as they placed him in handcuffs. Bryant posted bail within hours, and then he reached out again. Despite Caitlin blocking his number, blocking his email, blocking him on social media, Bryant created a brand new email address. That same day, he sent her a message dripping in manipulation. "Here I am, heartbroken, and with a criminal record for bringing the girl I love flowers." This was his third arrest in 14 days. Captain Polk was done playing games. He helped Caitlin obtain an emergency protective order, then had officers go to Bryant's house the next day to arrest him again, this time for stalking. By September 13, 2016, Charles Bryant was back in Denton, just half a mile from Caitlin's dorm. He was still lingering in the places she had once told him about when they were dating. That night, at 7 p.m., Bryant walked into Fry Street Public House, a popular local bar. An hour later, Jackie Vandagriff walked in. She was asking about a job. She ended up in a conversation with the bartender and Charles Bryant. It was the beginning of the last hours of her life. Just half a mile from Caitlin Mathis's dorm, right on the edge of the restraining order she had against him, Charles Dean Bryant sat in Fry Street Public House. Hours earlier, Bryant had met with his attorney. He had been informed that his legal troubles were far from over. He was likely facing more jail time for stalking and violating a protective order. That night, his mood was dark. Had he come to Fry Street looking for Caitlin? To lash out, to intimidate, to take back control? Or was this something far more sinister, a man spiraling out of control, looking for a new target? What is clear is that he wasn't alone. Throughout the evening, Bryant spoke with several young women, laughing, chatting, appearing on the surface just another guy at the bar. But the last woman he spoke to was Jackie Vandagriff, and she would never be seen alive again. As investigators peeled back the layers of that night, disturbing digital, breadcrumbs painted a chilling picture. At 8:30 p.m., Jackie sent out a tweet, one that would later haunt everyone who read it. "I am glad I decided to get off Tinder and walk to a bar." Jackie had been at Shots and Crafts, another bar in the area, just before arriving at Fry Street Public House. Surveillance footage from both locations would confirm that her path and Bryant's intersected, but the most unnerving clue wasn't digital at all. At 11:56 p.m., just 2 hours after Jackie and Bryant left the bar together, he posted a cryptic status on Facebook: "Teach you tricks that'll blow your mind." By then, Jackie was gone. Forensic data from Jackie's cell phone tracked her movements that night. At 9:41 p.m., her phone pinged off a cell tower in the Fry Street area, right where she was last seen. But by 11:57 p.m., her phone was nowhere near Denton. It had moved south toward Highway 377, just past I-35E. At 1:32 a.m., the final ping came from a tower near 2084 Blue Mound Road in Hazlet, Texas. And just miles away, Charles Bryant's home. Surveillance footage from a nearby gas station captured Bryant in the early morning hours, pacing, shifting nervously as he filled up a gas can, just before the fire at Acorn Woods was reported. A receipt found in his room later revealed that at 4:45 a.m., Bryant went to Walmart and purchased a shovel. At his home, his roommates would tell police something strange, that Bryant had spent the morning digging in the backyard. When they asked what he was doing, he casually told them, "I'm putting in a koi pond." But the dirt in the yard told a different story. It wasn't the start of a pond. It was a shallow, hastily dug grave. Investigators had no doubt. Bryant was their man. But they needed physical evidence to lock him in. The local drug task force was sent to watch Bryant's home at 1417 Sand Hills Drive, Hazlet, Texas, a 4-bedroom house he shared with 2 unsuspecting roommates. In the meantime, police obtained an arrest warrant, not yet for Jackie's murder, but for his violations of Caitlin Mathis's protective order. This warrant was their way in. At sunrise, Bryant emerged from the house, got into his car, and drove away. Within a block, police pulled him over. He was removed from the vehicle, handcuffed, and sat on the curb. His car impounded for evidence. Inside, detectives found a .22 caliber Sig Sauer Mosquito pistol, a stun gun hidden under the front console with a single long blonde hair tangled in it, several zip ties, the same kind found at the burn site, small blue plastic flakes, identical to the remnants of the burned kiddie pool bloodstains and blonde hairs in the cargo area of the vehicle. The clothes Bryant wore on the night Jackie disappeared. Next, investigators turned to Bryant's house. His roommates, unaware of what had happened, fully cooperated. Inside, they found 4 large plastic kiddie pools in 2 of the spare bedrooms, being used as a makeshift marijuana grow operation, a blue kiddie pool in the backyard, matching the one found burned in Acorn Woods, a circular spot in the grass, where another pool had recently sat. Satellite images showing 2 matching pools in the yard in the past, both identical to the one used in Jackie's murder, a black satchel in the trash. With Jackie's Texas Woman's University logo still visible, Another zip tie in the trash, blonde hairs caught in it. Inside Bryant's closet, they discovered a military-style combat knife, later confirmed to have traces of blood on the blade A. Small red plastic gas can, hidden among his belongings. Charles Bryant was brought in for interrogation. Detectives laid out everything they had: the footage, the DNA, the weapons, the timeline. He didn't deny it. He didn't fight it. But he also wouldn't admit to it. Instead, he offered only this: "It had to have been me. Obviously, but I don't remember doing it." Was he pretending to be confused, playing the memory loss card, or was this a twisted confession wrapped in denial? What detectives knew for certain was this: Jackie Vandagriff never stood a chance. But now, Charles Bryant's time was running out. On April 16, 2018, it took the jury just 2 hours to reach their verdict. Guilty. Charles Dean Bryant was convicted of the murder of Jackie Vandagriff, a life full of promise, stolen in one night of senseless violence. His sentence? Life in prison, a minimum of 30 years before he could even hope for parole. An additional conviction for tampering with evidence. For Jackie's family and friends, there could never be true justice, because true justice would mean Jackie walking through the door, smiling, alive. But one thing was certain: Charles Bryant would never walk free again. You've been listening to 22 Crime, where the truth hides in the details. In just 22 minutes, we've uncovered the story of Jackie Vandagriff, a young woman with a bright future, taken by a man who thought he could cover his tracks. But in the end, the evidence was louder than his lies. If you found this story compelling, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. And if you'd like to support our work, consider joining our community. Your support helps us continue to bring you the cases that need to be told. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, sometimes the most dangerous monsters don't lurk in the shadows. They sit right beside us at the bar.